Pupco Studios in Oklahoma City. You're watching The Press Row. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Barry Trammell, and we are brought to you by Papa John's Pizza. You can go online anytime and order your pizza at papajohns.com. Time for We Pick 'Em. It's Christmas week, and that means Christmas NBA games. We're going to pick 3 of them, and then we've got some fun college football picks to get to, including one involving your Oklahoma Sooners. Barry, let's start with the Thunder at the Spurs. It's the 1:30 game on Christmas Day. Who are you taking in this one?
You know what? I think I'll take the Thunder. I assume Kevin Durant will be back. I think the Thunder will be locked and loaded for this one. And here's the deal on the Spurs. They're not healthy, and sometimes even when they are, you don't know who Greg Popovich is going to put out there. The NBA's Mr. Scrooge is capable of sitting some of his stars for Christmas. Who knows what the lineup's going to look like? I'll take the Thunder.
Mr. Scrooge, I like it. I'm going to go with the Spurs in this one, largely because it's at home. I think the San Antonio faithful will be completely jacked up for this one, Christmas Day. The Spurs have played very few Christmas Day games over the course of the Tim Duncan era, which is obviously the lengthy current era that they're still under. So this is not a common occurrence, surprisingly. Even though the Spurs have been really good over that time, they haven't played a ton of Christmas Day games. So I think the Spurs fans will be into it. I think the Spurs will be into it. And right now, I'm just a little bit of a Thunder skeptic at this point, frankly. I didn't like the way they finished out that game against the Pelicans. It's left a little bit of a bitter taste in my mouth. All right, Barry, what about the Cavs at the Heat? This will obviously be a big talker on Christmas Day, 3 p.m. game. Who you got in this one?
You know what? I think I will take the Heat. I mean, in the same way that, teams get jacked up. We know the Thunder gets jacked up for certain games.
Yep.
Miami's going to be jacked up for this game with LeBron's homecoming. A key is getting Chris Bosh back. It's going to be difficult. Bosh wants to play. He doesn't want to miss that game. I don't know if he'll make it, but if he does, I like Miami.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Cavs in this one. I think, the Heat and their fans definitely will be into it, although Heat fans are, quite as rowdy as some others. In fact, they'll probably be late arriving, and they'll have to have their, Christmas drinks and all that jazz. So I don't know if the crowd will play into it that much. I think LeBron James is going to be very motivated, as will his more all-star teammates. Guys like Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love. I think they want to go down there and show that they're the team to beat in the East. I don't know if they are or not, but I think they want to show it. I think the Cavs get it done, but I hope to be able to stay awake after Christmas lunch. I'm always a game time decision when it comes to the afternoon and the napping going on Christmas. All right, Barry, what about this one? Speaking of napping, you might want to take one to stay up to watch this. Warriors at Clippers. It's not the late game because there's still one more after this, but 8:30 start on Christmas night. Who you got in this one?
I'm going to take the Clippers. The Warriors have played much better than the Clippers this year. Of course, they got a good rivalry going. Clippers win that great series last year, first round, 7 games. But Clippers have not played quite as well this season. But they've got all the pieces to be as good as they were a year ago. I think they get geared up. I think they beat the Warriors.
This is a great game. The NBA obviously puts its best on Christmas Day. But I'm going to take the Warriors. I think they've just got too much firepower. I think it's a great offensive matchup. But I think this game sways because the Warriors are playing some defense. Ron Adams, who we know around these parts as being a great defensive coach, is now coaching on the bench with the Warriors, and he's got them playing some defense. A team that didn't look interested in it at all is playing some D. So I'm going with the Warriors on Christmas night. All right, Barry, I promised football. Here we go. The Big 12 starts bowl play on Monday, the 29th. 3 bowls involving Big 12 teams, and this is one of them. Arkansas against Texas in the Texas Bowl, 8 o'clock on Monday night. Who you got in this one?
Well, I'm going to take Arkansas, but what a great bowl matchup. I mean, if you don't like bowls, I get the argument, but I disagree with you. Just for the reason is you can produce games like this. If you're of a certain age and younger, you don't remember what a great rivalry this was. I mean, this was the preeminent game in the Southwest Conference for decade after decade after decade. Texas A&M was not the SWC's best rivalry. It was Arkansas-Texas. The Hogs went to the SEC. The rivalry's only been played a couple of times, a couple of bowl matchups. But here they meet in Houston. Great matchup historically. Not a lot of offense. Arkansas runs the ball, can't throw. Texas's defense is big time. You can't say much for the Longhorn offense, but I think it's going to be low scoring. I like to watch that. I'm I'm going to take the Razorbacks, but I think this is going to be a fun one. I wish I could watch it. Unfortunately, I can't.
Yeah, and we'll know why here in a second as we talk about the game you'll be covering. But I think Arkansas wins this game too. And, I think it could go either way, actually, as I was thinking about it. I nearly picked Texas for this segment, and then I realized for our bowl predictions last week, I had gone ahead and picked Arkansas, so I'll stick with that. Nothing's really changed, so I'll go ahead and take Arkansas. But I do think it's a pretty much of a toss-up game. I think the Texas defense, if Texas wants to win, I think the Texas defense may have to score once or twice or set up a very short field for Texas to kick a field goal. But I like Arkansas. I think they're just a little bit better. All right, Barry, and here's the reason why you won't be able to watch that Texas Bowl, because you'll be covering the Russell Athletic Bowl as OU takes on Clemson earlier on Monday, 4:30 on the 29th. Barry, who are you taking in this one?
I'm taking the Sooners, and to me it's sort of an easy pick. I mean, I know Clemson's defense is really good, but the Tigers are without their quarterback. They lost that freshman whiz. They're back to Stout at quarterback. They didn't really like him too much, not all that productive. Meanwhile, the Sooners get Trevor Knight back. And, Trevor Knight's capable of throwing the ball to the other team and for taking one to the house.
Yeah.
On the other hand, he's also been very productive. I think it's going to be a clear advantage for the Sooners, just from a standpoint of quarterback advantage is with the Sooners.
Well, and I'm going to take the Sooners as well, and I think I made the pick before we knew for certain about some of these other guys too, maybe and Trevor Knight for sure. But not only do you get Knight back, but it sounds like Sterling Shepard is probably going to be available. Now he's obviously tried to go several times and realized he couldn't, so I suppose that could happen again. But a chance he's now with a longer layoff gotten that injury healed, and then Samaje Perine will be back, it sounds like. So the Sooners go in with a full complement of offensive players, offensive weapons. I like their chances. Yeah, it's going to be a test when you talk about Clemson's defensive line, especially. Really, really good up front, really good pass rushers. What kind of pressure will they put on Trevor Knight? What kind of run defense will they have against Samaje Perine? But I think if OU can get the push up front, and their offensive line has shown themselves capable when they run the ball to do that, I like OU, but it should be good. I like the fact that the Big 12 has these 3 bowl games stacked up on Monday. We'll get a good look at what the Big 12 is going to offer. Hey, be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.